Okay, let's be real for a second. Figuring out how to guide our kids, it can be one of the toughest, most confusing parts of being a parent, right? We all want our children to be responsible and respectful and happy, but how do we actually get there? Well, today we're going to explore a path that replaces all that conflict with connection and punishment with teaching. Let's dive in. So, when you hear the word discipline, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it might be, punishment, timeouts, yelling, just conflict. But what if we could totally reframe that? What if we could take discipline from being this word that makes us all tense up and turn it into one of our most powerful tools for connection? Here's our game plan. We're going to start by totally reframing discipline as teaching. Then we'll get into two big picture frameworks, build a super practical toolkit you can use today, see how it changes for different ages, and then wrap it all up with the most important piece of the puzzle, connection. Okay, first things first, we have to start with a huge mindset shift. Everything we're about to talk about really hinges on understanding what discipline truly means. And I'm going to bet it's not what you think. So check this out. The word discipline actually comes from this Latin word disciplinare. And you know what it means? It just means to teach or to train. That's it. It was never about punishment. It's about us being a guide, a teacher, a coach for our kids as they learn to figure out this big, complicated world. And this, right here, shows the difference perfectly. See, discipline is proactive. It's all about teaching the skills our kids are going to need for the future. Punishment, on the other hand, is reactive. It's about making a child pay for a mistake they already made in the past. So one builds skills, the other builds fear. It really all comes down to one question. Are we here to teach, or are we here to punish? And look, this isn't just some fluffy feel-good idea. This is backed by major institutions like the American Academy of Pediatrics. The research is crystal clear. Punishment-based approaches, like spanking or harsh yelling, they just don't work in the long run. In fact, they can be really harmful, leading to more aggression and mental health challenges down the road. This is our cue, right? It's time to find better tools. Okay, so our goal is to teach. Got it. But what's the philosophy here? Let's unpack two really powerful frameworks that give us the why behind all the how-tos. So first up is positive discipline. It's built on these 5 core ideas, but I want you to look at that very first one, is both kind and firm. That's the secret sauce. It means we respect the child and their feelings. That's the kindness, but we also respect the situation and hold the boundary. That's the firmness. It's not about being a pushover. It's about guiding our kids with respect. The second framework comes from decades of research into parenting styles. And just look at that top row. The authoritative style, that magic combo of high warmth and connection mixed with clear expectations, it consistently leads to the best outcomes. We're talking kids with high self-esteem who are great at managing their own emotions and making good choices. That is the sweet spot we're aiming for. All right, we've got our philosophy down. Now for the really fun part, the tools. Think of this section as your practical, grab-and-go toolkit for handling all those tricky, everyday parenting moments with a little more confidence. But before we jump into any specific tactics, we have to talk about the golden rule. The single most important predictor of success with all of this stuff is consistency. Seriously. When kids know what the boundaries are, and they know those boundaries are real and reliable, they feel safe. And that feeling of security is the foundation where all the learning and growth happens. Okay, let's talk about consequences, but I mean real consequences, not punishments in disguise. A natural consequence is just what happens when we don't step in. You forget your jacket, you get cold. The toy left in the rain gets ruined. Life itself is the teacher. A logical consequence is when you create, but, and this is key, it has to be directly related to the behavior. You make a mess, you help clean it up. Simple. It teaches responsibility, not fear. Now this might just be one of the most powerful mindset shifts you can ever make as a parent. When your child is misbehaving, they aren't actually trying to ruin your day. They are trying to communicate something, a need or a feeling that they just don't have the words for yet. So our job isn't to be a judge, it's to be a detective. So how do we become that detective? Well, first, we stay connected. Then, we look for clues. Are they tired, hungry, overwhelmed? Just naming the feeling for them, wow, you seem really frustrated right now, can be magic. And hey, that last point, that one's for you. If you feel yourself about to lose it, it is 100% okay to take a pause to calm yourself down. Modeling that is one of the best lessons you can ever teach.
Of course, the way you teach a 2-year-old is going to be totally different from how you guide a 10-year-old. The big principles, teach, connect, be kind, and firm, they stay the same, but our tactics, they definitely need to evolve as our kids grow up.
For our little ones, it's all about prevention and redirection. I mean, with a 1-year-old, you just move the fragile thing. As they get a bit older, you start giving them words for their gigantic feelings, and you can introduce super simple consequences like a time in, which is just a chance to calm down with you, not being sent away from you. Now, as they move into elementary school, their brains are capable of so much more. You can start shifting from just setting the consequences to actually collaborating on them, asking, what do you think would be a fair consequence for this? Gives them ownership. And this is also the perfect time to start teaching them how to make things right, how to truly apologize and fix a mistake. We've covered a lot of ground: frameworks, tools, strategies, but none of it, and I mean none of it, works without one essential non-negotiable ingredient. So let's bring this all home. When it all comes down to it, please remember this. Your relationship with your child is everything. It is the most powerful tool you have. A strong, loving, secure connection is the foundation that all of this is built on. Because when our kids feel seen and loved and safe with us, they are so much more open to our guidance. And building that foundation happens in these tiny everyday moments. It's putting your phone down for just 10 minutes of real one-on-one time. It's you apologizing when you make a mistake. It's choosing again and again to teach instead of punish. And it's making sure that at the end of even the hardest day, they know, without a doubt, that your love for them has no strings attached. This isn't about being a perfect parent. Nobody is. It's about being an intentional one. So as we wrap up, I just want you to think about this. What's one small shift you can make, one tiny opportunity you can take to teach with love and connection today? Because those small, loving moments, those are the ones that build a lifetime of trust, respect, and self-control.